Well, g'day, curd nerds. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different on the video, and that is we're going to have some recipes. Now, these recipes are basically me cooking things with the cheese that I make. So this week I'm going to be making a lovely mushroom risotto. So that should taste absolutely beautiful. Anyway, let me show you how I make mushroom risotto. So the ingredients you'll need is 350 grams of arborio rice, a sprig of rosemary finely chopped, sprig of thyme finely chopped, 2 cloves of garlic that has been crushed, half a cup of white wine, 80 grams of grated ricotta salata or Parmesan or any hard cheese, 1 medium onion chopped, 15 grams of dried porcini mushrooms, 200 grams of filled mushrooms, 200 grams of shiitake mushrooms, and 200 grams of button mushrooms. In total, 600 grams of mushrooms. You can also add some sourdough bread for croutons that you can garnish the dish with. You'll also need 1 litre of stock that has been brought to a simmer. So if you want to make it vegetarian, you can have vegetarian stock. In this instance, I'm using chicken stock. Now, I put a bit of oil in the frying pan. I'm going to fry up my bread until it's brown, and that will become croutons. So I'm just frying that there, with a little bit of olive oil over the top again. Now I'll fry those until they go brown. Now I'm putting 2 tablespoons of olive oil into my pot, and I'm bringing it over a medium heat. First of all, I'm going to add my chopped onions. And I'm going to add my dried porcini mushrooms and just fry those up until the onions go translucent. I'm also stirring the croutons in the background there. So make sure that the onions don't burn. You've got to make sure that they're you continue to stir those. Go. It's best to have it on a medium heat. I'm going to add our chopped rosemary now, and then our rice. Now we're going to cook the rice, it's like dry frying, until the colour goes translucent. You'll see the colour change in the rice. So once the colour has gone translucent, we're going to add some white wine. There's a half a cup of white wine, a little bit of a glug more. And I'm just removing the croutons from the frying pan there while I'm waiting for the white wine to be absorbed into the rice. Now, we're going to add stock now 1 ladle at a time until it becomes absorbed, and then we add another ladle. Now, this is the basis of a good risotto. We don't add all the stock at once. It just doesn't work. You've got to add a ladle at a time and then stir it and wait for it to be absorbed. So, meanwhile, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil and then all of our fresh mushrooms, and we're going to saute those until they're brown. So, once again, stir, make sure you stir the rice to prevent it from sticking. Now we're going to cover the mushrooms and continue to cook those over a low heat. We're going to add our crushed garlic and we add our thyme to our mushrooms. See, the mushrooms are browning nicely there. So still just putting a ladle in at a time into our rice and mixture. Just making sure that when it's all absorbed and just before it starts to stick on the bottom, then you add another ladle and you continue to wait until that absorbs. Now I thought I was going to run out of a bit of liquid, so I put some boiling water into the stock. It shouldn't change the flavour too much, and it didn't. Now I'm checking every so often just 1 rice grain off the spoon to see if it's tender. That's how you know when the risotto is cooked. It's not quite there yet, so I'm just letting it absorb more moisture from the stock. By the way, this recipe serves 4 people, and they're quite generous serves too. Still stirring, still making sure I'm adding stock. Overall, the process takes about 30 minutes. So when you've tested it, we're going to add the mushrooms. So you test the rice to make sure it's tender, and then we're going to add the mushrooms in. We're going to stir all that through. So all the mushrooms and all the lovely juices from the pan. Don't forget to pour those in as well. I'm going to add a knob of butter to make it a little bit more creamier. And then we're going to add all of the grated cheese. I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice and then season your risotto to taste with pepper and salt. So let's stir all the way through until the butter melts. You should see that the risotto is nice and oozy. You see the cheese melts a little bit and creates a nice ooziness to this. I'm just adding a little bit more pink Himalayan salt there from a salt mill. So just a final check on the seasonings. I'm going to use a teaspoon to check that everything's tender and it tastes all right. And the verdict is that it's perfect, absolutely perfect mushroom risotto. So we serve them up into some bowls. Lots of colour there. You can see a lot of the mushroom flavours gone into the rice, which is the objective. And we're going to grate a little bit more extra cheese. Now this can be Parmesan, as I said, or in this case I'm using a Ricotta Salata. And that just adds a little special something on top. Now we can add croutons before we serve, or you can have them in a separate bowl. So as you can see, the process was fairly simple. Mushroom risotto is something that can be made in about 30 minutes, so that's really good and very efficient use of your time. The addition of the pecorino ricotta salata at the end made the dish absolutely delicious. It just gave it a little bit of a little special je ne sais quoi, if I may say. But yeah, absolutely delicious, and I would definitely make mushroom risotto again. And I have actually many times using that same recipe. Don't forget, if you subscribe to the channel, you get more interesting content notified either via email or via your browser every week. Also, you can be a patron of the show and support it financially. Just pop over to the link in the video description below. Thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time.